I'm as much of a March Madness person as anybody else. I'm very excited about it. But, you know, the NCAA doing their best to try and put together a bubble. I'm sure it is not easy, and I am going to stop any sort of sounding like anything could remotely sound like an excuse right here and there. Put a pin on that one. I saw this video on my Twitter feed today. It got sent into my Twitter timeline. Sedona Prince is a member of the Oregon Ducks basketball team in San Antonio, Texas, as the women's tournament is going to tip off this weekend in its own bubble in the state of Texas. And this piece of video that she put on her TikTok page flat out outraged me. Don, if you wouldn't mind rolling it, please go for it.
I got something to show y'all. So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room. Now, when pictures of our weight room got released versus the men's, the NCAA came out with a statement saying that it wasn't money, it was space that was a problem. Let me show y'all something else. Here's our practice court, right? And then here's that weight room. And then here's all this extra space. If you aren't upset about this problem, then you're a part of it.
Well, we don't want to be a part of it. I'm upset about it. I'm outraged by it. And for those who might be listening on the radio, the weight room is what she was referring to in quotes. It was, what would you say, a stack of dumbbells that was, you know, for essentially curling that would be anywhere between weighing about 5 pounds to about what, max to what, like 25 pounds?
25, 30 pounds.
It was like it's like a pyramid that you could, if you, it certainly would fit in the wingspan of a 5-year-old, right?
It was like what you'd see at a small hotel gym.
I mean,
you know,
but a small hotel gym has more than just even this. That's
right.
all they had there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the space that they had for outside on the other side of the court was as large as the weight room that is filled with all sorts of equipment. The men's room, the men's weight room, which is in Indiana, and I saw the responses because it's on her TikTok. I'm sure she had somebody send her the video of what the men's weight room looks like in this huge convention space. To sit here and say that there's no space, and then she shows the actual space that could be filled up with the weights, and to say there's no space and say the state of Texas, when you can refer to anything in the lexicon of our English language and any sort of reference to anything that has a huge amount of space, you just fill in the blank as the size of Texas. Right. That's how you refer to something. It's so large, it's the size of Texas. There's so much space, it's the size of Texas. You have Texas. It's just outrageous. Now then, Lynn Holzman, who is the VP of women's basketball of the NCAA tournament, apologized. Whoever said it's a space problem needs to have their space in between their temples examined. She says, Lynn Holzman, that the VP of women's basketball, that, you know, it's a mistake. It will be rectified by Saturday. I hope I do see on either Sedona's social media or anyone else's what the fix is. I'd love to see it. If it doesn't look anything like the men's facility, it's an outrage. And I don't care that the women's tournament doesn't have the same type of revenue accrual as the men's tournament. I do not care. I do not care. Ask anybody who is the parent of a daughter about the importance of equating the men's and women's tournament. Ask anybody who's had a daughter make it to this level, how hard they have to work, what they have to do to get recruited and make it there. And that their bodies are just as much of a temple as a man's. I don't care. You know what? It really came home to roost to me yesterday. We're filling out the brackets for all of us here on the show, and my kids really want to beat your guys' asses. They really want to do it in the worst way.
They're so into it.
And so Taylor, my 7-year-old daughter, she sits down. It's the first time she makes out a bracket because she sees her brothers doing it. She wants to be part of what daddy's up to, and I want her to be part of it too. Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
She sits down. You know what's the first thing she says to me? What about the girls' bracket, Dad? And she stopped me dead in my tracks. And I'm like, okay, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to get her brothers. Dad's going to sit down tomorrow. We're not going to make it part of this thing. It's going to be a separate, special thing. We're going to do a women's bracket.
Love that.
We're going to sit down And we may not know who's going to win this or who's going to win that, but it's going to be just as damn special in my household. My daughter's not going to feel less than in any way, shape, or form. Nor should anybody's daughter. Boy, I was pissed when I saw that today.
And she also posted something, Rich, about the swag bag that the girls get as opposed to what the boys get. And the discrepancy is unbelievable.
I mean, come on. There's enough money. We're literally swimming in these dollars and cents. And the sponsors, whoever sponsors the women's tournament, they want that to be out there?
Yes.
Come on.
Step your game
Outfit
up.
it. Somebody should step this up right now. So we don't want to be part of the problem. Let's be part of the solution. Bring a spotlight to it and fix it.
Anytime there's a story about women's basketball, high school, pro, college, you're always going to get these guys in the comments who make these ridiculous statements like, degrading them about going to the kitchen or this or that. And I'm promising you this. No male that could really ball will ever go on one of these sites and degrade girls basketball players because they know how good they are. They know the work that they put in. So it's just like, fellas, I mean, you think you're being funny, but you're not being funny.
Well, here's
just
the thing,
stop
too.
that.
Here's the thing, too. We could sit here and talk about what their acumen is in terms of on the court, and they could beat them on the court. Let's just be very honest here about this whole subject matter. And me being somebody who wasn't married for the first 33 years of my life and now married to the love of my life for 18 years, who said, you need a daughter, and said, if we get the daughter, you can name the daughter. We get the daughter, she devotes my name to the naming rights, the middle name. That has nothing to do with it. But you need to be a girl dad, and I want to be a girl mom, and you need this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And now I'm realizing why. And even with my very strong-willed mother raising me for those first 33 years, it took having a wife and a daughter to sit here and just realize, who's the center of everybody's household? The woman.
Yeah.
Mom.
Who's the rock of the family? Mom, wife, daughter. So they can't run companies. They can't run the country because they're a woman. They can't have the same thing as a man because they're a woman. Like, why the hell am I teaching my daughter that? Never. It's just, it sometimes you have to be hit in the face with it before you realize what the hell's going on. I bet you every single last one of those people that's talking about go back to the kitchen or whatever sort of dumbass Cro-Magnon crap they hit send on in the Twitter feed, I bet you they're all mama's boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Loving their mama. But guess what? When it comes to them being women, having the same weight room as the men for a basketball tournament that means just as much to them as anybody else, they shouldn't? What the hell? Honestly.
Like it's a weight room.
I keep thinking that. Like, without Susie, my household is done. And without my daughter, I mean, I don't even know. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.